Welcome, everybody. This is the legal tampering period. It started just a few minutes ago. This is going to be a much more casual YouTube live as I have to keep my eyes on the computer screen right in front of me, but I'll just be taking you through my workday here, and we'll be tracking any developments as they may pertain to the 49ers, even NFL-wide ones, because a few have already happened. So we can already go through a couple of the things that have happened, and hopefully you can just sit back and enjoy. I'm not going to be talking directly to the camera the whole time, but I figured that this is what YouTube Live is for. Alex Kappa, the guard, the Cincinnati Bengals signed him. We're still waiting for money coming in, but that is something that I am tracking because we all know that the Bengals needed to upgrade their offensive line. That was following a disaster of a fourth quarter in the Super Bowl against the Rams. Now, poetically, the Bengals Super Bowl ended very similarly to how the 49ers NFC Championship games ended. Joe Burrow making a desperation pass with Aaron Donald dragging him to the ground, while Jimmy Garoppolo made a desperation pass with Aaron Donald dragging him to the ground in the NFC title game. And I bring up that parallel because I think the 49ers will also have to be big on investing in the offensive line this offseason, whether it be through, it could be a big depth investment because you need 7 or 8 of these guys, or it could be a splash year investment for the starting 5. We're going to find out what happens to Laken Tomlinson. That's probably going to cost some money now that Alex Kappa has signed with the Cincinnati Bengals, probably for significant money. I'm going to look to see what the initial reports of that deal were. Matt Barrows, my colleague, reported what we already talked about in the 49ers State of the Special Teams report, and that was the 49ers have checked in on receivers Jakeem Grant, Ray McLeod, and a new one, Khalif Raymond. They all can fly. This is what Matt said. They all can fly, and there would be upgrades at returner for the 49ers. So I'm not checking the questions too often because right now I have to be on Twitter, guys. I've got my coffee ready here. The legal tampering period started at 9 a.m., so we're 8 minutes into it. Small news coming across, such as Jeff Swaim has agreed to a 1-year extension with the Titans from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Earlier today, we had some edge rusher tweets come from me. People are retweeting that a lot. Some very good edge rushers are set to be on the open market. Chandler Jones, Von Miller, Jadeveon Clowney, Hassan Reddick, and Zadarius Smith. The edge rusher news that spurred that was Zadarius Smith being released by the Green Bay Packers. So he's another name. In an ideal world, I tweeted this a little bit earlier, the 49ers, I think, would add a premier edge rusher to pair with Nick Bosa. They would add a very reliable cornerback and perhaps a bit more secondary depth on top of that, because who knows what's going to happen to K'Wan Williams. They have a question mark at nickelback as well. They would just add offensive line depth in general, and they would add a premier tight end to pair with George Kittle. Now, an interesting flyer type of tight end might be O.J. Howard, the Tampa Bay guy who had some big years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but only played 4 games last season due to injury. Might be had for a cheap deal this year, something like Jordan Reed in 2020. And if Jordan Reed had been healthy at the same time as George Kittle, that could have been really interesting for the 49ers. Let me get some coffee here, get back on Twitter, see what's going on. Jeff Swaim is our most exciting news of the last 3 minutes, and that's not very exciting. Hope everybody's doing well this morning up at Shaver Lake. You guys have probably seen my Twitter. Nice little sunrise. I've been up since early, waiting for something to happen on the 49ers front. Eric Davis, 12 hours ago, tweeted with Randy Cross retweeting him, no, the 49ers aren't trading for Brady. Yes, I have been saying that for a long time. I went live yesterday. I was a little annoyed. I had to make a live after Brady came out of retirement, just because people just wouldn't shut up about it. And obviously Brady wanted to come out of retirement, but the Bucks hold his rights. And they've already told us they're not going to trade him away for peanuts. It would cost like 7 first-round picks. I think that's what Arians was joking about. Josina Anderson reports the 49ers are showing interest in Marquez Valdez-Scantling, which makes sense. Green Bay receiver, speed threat, can stretch the defense. It's time for me to tweet about that. Let's find Josina Anderson's tweet so I could send this out. Got to keep TweetDeck open. I have two monitors here, which is why I'm occasionally looking a little bit further away from that camera. Here we go. Put TweetDeck over here. Josina Anderson's tweet over here. 49ers make sense because the 49ers wouldn't mind adding a speed burner threat to somebody tried to call me, but I can't pick that up. The wide receiver room. Valdez Scantling. I'm going to have to turn off my computer connected to my phone. You know, Travis Benjamin didn't work out as a speed demon receiver threat, you know, to stretch the field. The 49ers tried, but obviously he only had one catch, and that came in the playoffs. So somebody like Valdez-Scantling might fit that mold for the 49ers. Scroll up on Twitter. Nothing new. I'm about to send out this tweet. The Travis Benjamin experiment certainly didn't work out. The 49, but SF did try to stretch field, especially when Trey Lance was in at QB. All right, check me out on Twitter. That tweet's out there. Our first tweet done during a YouTube live. Fun stuff. 78 of you watching right now. I can't believe that 78 of you find watching me sit here and type to be exciting enough to tune into, but I am honored. It's up to 80. That's crazy. So subscribe to the channel now. If this is fun, I think my film breakdowns are way more fun. I think when I actually dedicate my time talking to you and answering questions is way more fun. So thanks, guys. Chase Edmonds signs with the Dolphins. Thanks, Mike. I need to do a better job keeping up with this on Twitter. Got it from Mike on the YouTube live. Edmonds to the Dolphins means what for Raheem Mostert? I still think that Mike McDaniel might be interested in bringing him in, but he might not be willing to pay as much. Why don't we tweet that? All right, here's the tweet. With Chase Edmonds now in tow, I think Mike McDaniel will still be interested in bringing Raheem Mostert in, but maybe the price point just went down a bit for the Dolphins. Tweet. It's out. Can't say anything for 100% certain in this Mostert situation. I do know that Raheem Mostert might have been Mike McDaniel's favorite player on the 49ers. Now, maybe, Kyle Juszczyk was his best friend because of the Ivy League connection. You had Kyle Juszczyk go to Harvard and Mike McDaniel go to Yale. Mike McDaniel played receiver at Yale. So they had that whole thing going. They'd bet on the game between Harvard and Yale every year. But I do know that McDaniel absolutely loved him some Raheem Mostert, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to bring Mostert into Miami. But price point probably just went down because they're going to give Chase Edmonds $6 million a year, 6.1 to be exact. 2 years, 12.6 million for Chase Edmonds. Yes, this is obvious. We all expected this. Cornerback is one area where the 49ers want that really, really solid veteran. I don't know how high of a price point they'll go to, but they're going to be aggressive on the cornerback market. So Chase Edmonds signs with, or will sign when this tampering period opens or ends, with the Miami Dolphins. This coffee is still hot. We broke 100. That's awesome. Now, as far as timing goes, remember that this is just a legal tampering period. Players can't officially sign deals, and teams don't officially need to be under the salary cap until the actual NFL new league year begins, and that's on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So between now and then, we're kind of in this limbo where negotiations can happen, but stuff can't be finalized until Wednesday. Well, by the way, Alex Kappa, I know I missed this because we were just getting started. 4 years, $40 million with the Bengals. That's $10 million per year. We'll see. Here, why don't we compare Alex Kappa and Laken Tomlinson? That could be a good thing to talk about right now. So we have $10 million per year for Alex Kappa. I'm going to go here to PFF to see if we get kind of a cursory grade comparison between these two players. And then maybe then we can, give a valuation prediction for Laken Tomlinson. Because I thought 9 to 10 million for Laken Tomlinson entering this. The Browns are releasing Jarvis Landry. So Amari Cooper coming to the Browns. Jarvis Landry is leaving. That was to be predicted. They were able to acquire Amari Cooper for essentially peanuts, right? There's just like a 5th round pick or a lower round pick, even though his salary was about $20 million. Jarvis Landry at $15 million. It was going to be really hard to trade. So it's a release or nothing for Cleveland, and they decided to release Jarvis Landry. So he's going to be out there. He's not going to command $15 million a year next year. Jarvis Landry, how old is he now? Definitely wrong side of 30, right? He's been around the league for a long time. No, 29, but he will be 30 next season. Yeah, the 49ers reaching out to the top cornerbacks is something that we expected. That is a position where they need that veteran stalwart. They've seen their best success when they've had that veteran stalwart there to pair with Mosley. Richard Sherman, obviously, in 2018, 2019, and then he was hurt for a lot of 2020, but he was there. Jason Verrett was that guy in 2020. Jason Verrett was supposed to be that guy in 21, but he tore his ACL. You don't want to roll out there with Mosley and Ambry Thomas. And that's what we're going to tweet right now. '49ers like Emmanuel Mosley. And Ambry Thomas. 49ers like Emmanuel Mosley and Ambry Thomas, but they've clearly only been at their best defensively with a plus vet cornerback anchoring the show. See Richard Sherman in 2018 to 2019, Jason Verrett in 2020. That's why they've long been expected to hit the CB market this year. All right, that tweet is out. We're waiting for more news. So while we wait, we can go check in on guard grades just to get some kind of objectivity behind a lot of the talk here regarding Alex Kappa and potentially Laken Tomlinson. So pass blocking. Why don't we look at pass blocking first? Kappa, pass blocking grade out of, I want to do 50% of qualifying guards here on Pro Football Focus. Alex Kappa ranked 19th out of 50 qualifying guards in pass blocking rate. Laken Tomlinson ranked 18th. Interesting. And they had the same exact pass blocking grade, 69.2. They're actually tied. They're tied. This is a tie for 19th between Laken Tomlinson and Alex Kappa, the 69.2 PFF pass blocking grade. What about run blocking? In the run blocking facet of the game, it's not loading. The internet seems to have slowed on me, but we could start composing this tweet because I think Kappa at 10 million per year is a very good parameter for Laken Tomlinson. Run blocking grades, here we go. Narrowed down to 50%. Laken, 12th in NFL, 75.3. Kappa, down at 69.0. So Kappa is 25th. So Laken Tomlinson actually graded out better than Alex Kappa last year. Plus, you have the durability factor. I think this is definitely something to talk about right now because I think if Kappa commanded 10 million a year, Laken Tomlinson can as well. Because just from the durability standpoint, he's a strong candidate to command that much money. And now, he's still out on the market, and the tampering period has begun. And the 49ers, I guess they're willing to let him go into that tampering period without finalizing a deal. I'll tell you what, I don't think the 49ers are in position to be losing quality, durable offensive linemen. And in the case of Laken Tomlinson, he's only missed like 2 snaps over 5 years because his shoe came untied. The Cardinals and James Conner agreed to terms on a 3-year contract. So they lose Chase Edmonds, but they keep James Conner. All right, so we're going to tweet about Alex Kappa and Laken Tomlinson right now. Laken Tomlinson finished 2021 with the same exact PFF pass blocking grade as Alex Kappa, who just commanded 10 million APY from Cincinnati. Tomlinson rated better as a run blocker and is one of the most durable players in football. What will Tomlinson command? Likely more than 10M APY. This is the hard part. I got to shorten it to fit characters. We're 5 characters over. So you eliminate words like the, chain. I like football there. I need to take one more character out, guys. This is tough. This is really tough. From Bengals instead of Cincinnati. Boom. There we go. All right. We have a tweet. about Lakin Tomlinson and Alex Kappa out. I'm Lombardi himself on Twitter, those of you who are on YouTube. We just cracked 200. This is fun. If this is boring you, and I wouldn't blame you if it is, because I'm just sitting here working and randomly talking about the 49ers, nothing formal, and you're new to the channel, please do give us a chance, subscribe, but go and check out more exciting stuff like the Trey Lance film breakdown. 8 episodes, and we're on episode number 7. That's the next one coming up. An episode per quarter of play, covering every single Trey Lance snap of the 2021 season. Maybe I could pop open the depth chart here in a little bit. I'm going to go back to TweetDeck, though. I have it over here so I could see easier. I have no idea how long I'm going to stay online as far as live today, but as long as it stays fun, I'll be here. So somebody's talking about how tough Alex Kappa is. He seriously tried to play with a broken leg against Washington in a wild card game in 2020. Yeah, so he's really tough. I give him credit for that. The thing is, Lakin Tomlinson doesn't get hurt, period. Literally, the guy has missed 2 out of like 10,000 snaps, possible snaps of the 49ers. Not 10,000, but several thousand, probably 6,000 or so. He's missed 2 snaps because his shoe came untied, and he had a shoe wardrobe malfunction. We'll put it that way. So that's got to be worth a lot in the NFL. And I think it should be worth a lot to the 49ers because they have so much trouble with durability, right? They have so much trouble with injuries. We wait, and we wait. James Conner's deal is in 3 years, $21 million that could grow to $25.5 million and includes $13.5 million fully guaranteed. Holy overpay. James Conner is good. James Conner has waited his turn, but that is a wild amount of money for James Conner, for any running back. He did have a good season, but boy, that's a lot of money for James Conner. 10th highest average paid running back in football for now. And yes, the running back position has suffered financially in years prior, but that might be turning around now with, you're kind of losing. There's this blurring between importance of the receiver position and the running back position. So the stock of running backs might be on the up and up. Should the 49ers take a flyer on Landry? I don't think so. I don't think he matches their slot type receiver. I think they're going big slot now. I think they like Jawan Jennings. The 49ers actually don't need to do this right now. They have until Wednesday to free up the room. So they could sign whoever they want Monday or agree to terms Monday, Tuesday, early Wednesday, even with Garoppolo still on the roster. And then they could still even restructure guys and probably create some room. So they still have options in their bag. And as I've been on the record saying, I think it's going to take some movement from Deshaun Watson to really hasten the process with Jimmy Garoppolo. Those James Conner numbers surprise me. But, he did play well for the Cardinals last year. He did run over Drake Kirkpatrick, who was with the 49ers for a brief period of time. That might have been the low point of the season for the 49ers when Drake Kirkpatrick got truck sticked by James Conner. All right, I'm going to pop over the depth chart to help us pass some time. Spice this up a little bit. I just have so many windows open right now. Have to take care of that. Let's see here. 49ers, 90-man depth chart. There we go. Share a screen for you. There it is. You could check this out at the link I am about to share into the chat. As you can see, the 49ers currently have, according to my depth chart, 52 total players under contract because I'm not counting Alfredo Gutierrez, your international exception. And I project 39 players right now that they currently have under contract to make the 53-man roster. I am counting Juwan Jennings, even though he hasn't signed his deal, because they have tendered him, but I think they're working on a longer-term deal potentially with Jennings. But he's going to be a 49er next year. So all the players highlighted in yellow are players signed this offseason for the 49ers. So there hasn't been any new movement today on the front of the depth chart, but it's a good one to look. It's a good one to look at because it sets the table nicely for what the 49ers might do this week. Multiple teams showing interest in Randy Gregory, including the Broncos. You know, it's funny, Randy Gregory, there were reports a couple days ago that Dallas was going to re-sign him before the start of the tampering period or early in the week before Wednesday. But now, now it looks like he's getting out onto that market. He's talking to other teams. You can maybe add him to that list of impressive edge rushers. Maybe not quite as prolific as somebody like Chandler Jones, but Randy Gregory is a good football player. Actually was in on the play that hurt Jimmy Garoppolo, hurt his shoulder this year. This is a really good coffee. Anyway, you can go to the link in the chat section to check out the depth chart. I'll make it a little bit smaller. Or you probably would rather look at the depth chart than look at my face. So we'll make the depth chart bigger for now. More on Twitter than I am in the question section, as you can tell. But right now, we'll answer a few questions. Bosa, Armstead, Kinlaw, and Chandler Jones. Fun times. They would be indeed. I mean, you talk about pairing an elite edge rusher with Nick Bosa. It's something the 49ers have always dreamed of doing. They wanted to do it with D Ford, but he's been hurt so often. Chandler Jones would would be it. I mean, that has to make you salivate if you're a 49ers fan. Is there a lunch with Lombardi scheduled for today? Can I have something delivered? Probably not. I pre-recorded one. I grilled some pizza yesterday, so I could edit that, put it out. Yeah, I'll do that. I did that pre-record it yesterday, so I could edit it, and then I could put in like some commentary about a new 49er signing, and I could throw it out there during free agency. So maybe it comes out today, but don't count on it. Okay, lunch with Lombardi is always a bonus. Try to do a couple a week, but it's always a bonus. This coffee is really good. I think I needed it today. It's just people talking in circles on Twitter now. You know, I don't think that Garoppolo's surgery hurt his trade value in the long run, but what it did is it made teams do more medical due diligence. Might have stretched out this trade process a little bit, but at the end of the day, he wasn't getting traded before Aaron Rodgers decided what he was going to do. And now that there's been the Deshaun Watson complication with no criminal indictment coming back, it's likely that he won't get traded until the Deshaun Watson situation is settled. So the 49ers can and will hold out until it's no longer advantageous for them to hold out, even if there are offers on the table, because that price will only increase with teams more and more desperate for a starting quarterback. So let's just wait to let's just wait to see how this plays out, because the whole antsiness from 49ers fans to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You want to secure the best possible deal for your team, and there's no reason to pull the trigger on a deal earlier than it would be advantageous. Did I see Debo's tweet? No, I didn't. I'm going to go look at Debo's tweet just because you told me to go look for Debo's tweet. Debo Samuel, 19 problems. Waiting to see what moves your team about to make. Okay, yeah, well, it doesn't tell us anything. Debo's just like us. Debo might be watching this YouTube live. Let's just say that I get free drinks every time I'm at Lambeau Field. It's always a lot of fun to go back to Green Bay. Ooh, AJ Bouye got released. The 49ers were actually planning to sign AJ Bouye before they signed Richard Sherman. I'm going to tweet about that. It was what, 2018? Yeah. Yeah, 2018, AJ Bouye. How old is Bouye? Is he still good? Well, he just got released. Let's see what his age is. 30. Wrong side of 30. You know, this would be more bargain bin cornerback shopping at this point. Jason Verrett, also wrong side of 30. You might be able to get him at a cheap price like you did in 2020 and coming off an injury, get that kind of season. But I don't blame the 49ers, and I'm not surprised that the 49ers are probing the higher end of the cornerback market. I mean, Debo Samuel, we're still a long way from potential franchise tag discussions. He's still got a year under his rookie deal. He is eligible for the long-term deal, and I wrote about that a few weeks ago. We'll pop open that article here in a second. Now that we have 262 of you on board, why don't we go to some of my pieces on Athletic? This will help pass some time. Here's the state of the special teams piece that we were talking about. If you checked this piece out, you know that we talked about Ray McLeod and Jakeem Grant. Obvious situation where the 49ers need some improvement is the return game. You look at their special teams efficiency, not good, especially in the return game. Red is bad, blue is good. But we had some other pieces here, especially the Nick Bosa, Debo Samuel contract situation piece that John Lynch said it's been budgeted for. And, you know, this is Fred Warner's contract they signed last year. This to me is really interesting. You could see that they were able to keep Fred Warner's cap number in his first year of his long-term extension the same as it was on his rookie deal, $3.6 million, through a clever use of two different bonuses and then a buyback bonus. So really 3 bonuses. That's what Parag Marathe did. I think you could do a similar thing with Debo Samuel. And then here you could see the top wide receiver and the top running back contracts. And with Debo Samuel, I think you're going to obviously be in this top 5 receiver range. Then obviously the top 5 edge rusher contracts. Max Crosby has since cracked this list, although he's somewhere, I think 23, 24 million APY. So he's not going to be anywhere near the top, and he's not going to be anywhere near where Nick Bosa signs this offseason, presumably, for the 49ers. So anyway, a lot of cool pieces up at the Athletic. You could sign up right now for $1 a month, and I'm posting in the chat section the link to that Nick Bosa piece. Go ahead and check it out for $1 a month. That's the most in-depth 49ers writing that you're going to find online. And then I try to complement it with this nice YouTube channel. I mean, I'm blown away that there are legitimately 266 people who are willing to watch me sit here and tweet. I mean, guys, get a life. This has to be the most boring YouTube live that there ever has been. Yet 273, like more and more of you just keep on watching. So if you think this is exciting, subscribe to the channel, watch the other stuff. But seriously, this is boring. The only reason I did it is because I knew that you guys like boring stuff. You guys are obsessed with the 49ers, and so am I. It's okay. We all have a sickness. We're all obsessed with football, and we'll all sit here and enjoy it and run up YouTube numbers of a guy just sitting and typing at his computer. I just find it fascinating that this kind of stuff sells. But thank you all for your support. Somebody just DM'd me asking here. DMs are a busy place today. I mean, these are not reports. I know Mike Sando. I love Mike Sando, but even Mike Sando wouldn't call this report. Mike Sando is speculating about what the 49ers might do. And I've also speculated about the 49ers and what they might do. And I've reported what John Lynch has said. And John Lynch literally said not too long ago at the NFL Combine, let me bring it in right here. We can go to my Twitter. Lynch said, where is it? Got to go down here. Right here. Here we go. There's always plan A, plan B, and plan C. John Lynch said at the Combine. We plan for all of that accordingly. Jimmy's a big part of what we've done. He's still a big part of us. And until that changes, we feel blessed that he is. I think the 49ers have made plan A obvious. Plan A is to trade Jimmy Garoppolo, have Trey Lance start. But plans B and C are still on the table. That doesn't eliminate plans B and C. Any good organization, any good business is adaptable, is on its toes, is ready for multiple different scenarios to maximize the value of whatever it's doing. The 49ers might be able to maximize Jimmy Garoppolo's value by keeping him on the roster. Now, is that a feasible thing given the fact they need to cut some salary cap space? Maybe, maybe not, because restructures can only take you so far. We have to see the 49ers actual restructure plan. None of those have come out yet because they're waiting as long as they possibly can before executing any of these. But once we see their restructure plan, if they still have Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster, we can then judge how effectively they might be able to pull the Tetris pieces around. Again, this is what the 49ers are playing right now. They're playing this. 49ers are playing Tetris. They have about $10 million to cut. They have to get under the salary cap, and they have to do it while managing this Jimmy Garoppolo situation. The cheat code to get under the cap really quickly is to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. But if they don't, if they feel they're not getting the requisite value for him right now, given medical due diligence on the shoulder or whatever else, they can wait to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. But there's probably going to be an opportunity cost there because they won't clear that money. They'll have to clear it elsewhere. And they probably want to sign some free agents. They might even be interested in some top free agents at both edge rusher and at cornerback. So to play Tetris, you're going to have to make decisions. And the 49ers are about to enter that decision-making phase. All right, I'm going to get this Tetris game off the screen because it's annoying. We can sit there with Nick Bosa on the screen instead. I guess some of you signed off in anger after I said you didn't have a life. Like 7 of you decided to leave for watching my YouTube live. Thankfully, most of you have a sense of humor, so I'm happy about that. We're at 266. That's good. Subscribe to the channel if you're still there. Connor Hughes is the Athletics Jets writer. A second-tier player I'd keep an eye on for the Jets. Jerick McKinnon. Should I put him on blast? Cool. I like Connor. Quote tweet him. Send the wrath of 49ers fans at him. I like Connor too much. We're not going to do that. I mean, we could really blow up this guy's mentions. We could really blow up this guy's mentions if we quote tweet him and send him to the hounds being 49ers fans on Twitter. So Chase Edmonds to the Miami Dolphins under Mike McDaniel. It's going to be a fascinating offseason. If we go back to the 49ers depth chart here, just to highlight what they have to do to get this whole process started. The guys in red are currently hurt or rehabbing. The guys in yellow have been re-signed this offseason or tendered this offseason as exclusive rights free agents. As you can see, assuming Garoppolo won't be around, you got to bolster that quarterback position. I should put Nate Sudfeld on the 53-man roster, though. He's making more than practice squad money. So why don't we make that change right now? Why don't we put Nate here? I can make this big so you guys can follow along. Nate Sudfeld. We're moving Sudfeld over to the 53 away from a practice squad projection. We'll delete this. We got to clear some of this highlighting. And we got to highlight Sudfeld's name because they have re-signed him this offseason. So we'll give him a yellow highlight. There you go. So right now, Sudfeld is obviously still depth 2, but I project him to make the 53. And if you've been following along the last few years, you know that the 49ers and Shanahan typically only carry 2 quarterbacks on their 53-man roster, which means that, Sudfeld's got a shot to be QB2. They're paying him $2 million guaranteed. Now, Hoyer just made $3 million guaranteed on his contract agreed to this morning, probably signed this morning with the Patriots. Brian Hoyer, former 49er starter back in 2017. So as you can see, that's $2 to $3 million guaranteed is lower end backup QB2 money, but it doesn't preclude the 49ers from going out and signing another higher end backup. I don't know if they will. I think they're straddling that line perfectly. And I do know that Trey Lance loves Nate Sudfeld. He credits him for being kind of a big brother in that room, being the mentor for the business side of the game. So the 49ers wanted to maintain some continuity in the quarterback room for young Trey. So they gave Nate Sudfeld those $2 million guaranteed, and that gives them option power. Again, you could flex him up to QB2, or you could just keep him around for continuity's sake. I think the 49ers are still feeling out that whole process. I use TweetDeck, which is this app where Twitter is just kind of scrolling for me. It looks like Connor Hughes has amended his tweet from Jerick McKinnon to J.D. McKissick. So he didn't mean Jerick McKinnon. I'm going to tweet at him. Lol, LOL, Jerick McKinnon would have opened you up to the wrath of 49ers Twitter. Mere mention of his name affects people. It really does. I mean, that is a radioactive name, Jerick McKinnon. Hello to Visalia, California, my hometown. Awesome. You don't have to put California for me. I know where Visalia is. I know what state Visalia is in. I grew up there. Greetings from Germany. So I'm going to be out in Europe here in a couple weeks. My girlfriend and I are headed to Prague. Then we're headed to Italy. We'll be going to Venice, Bologna, Florence, wine tasting in Tuscany and like San Gimignano, through Pisa on our way to Cinque Terre, Manarola, Parma, and then Milan. And then we're flying back to the U.S. We're flying from New York. So we'll be in New York before and then back into Chicago. So 2 other great cities to tack on the list. It's going to be a lot of cities in a short period of time. And I'm going to do YouTube lives from cool spots in Europe. So I'm going to have my cell phone. Like, I'm going to do a YouTube live from Prague Castle. It's going to be the most badass YouTube live I've ever done. And hopefully there's like 49ers news at the time that I go live from Prague Castle or from like Venice, from like a gondola. I don't think my girlfriend would be too happy if I did a YouTube live from the gondola, but I think I'll just do it because I'm in it for the fans here. We can't stop talking 49ers even when we're in Europe here in a couple weeks. But it's the best time of the year to go on a trip because people start talking in circles before the draft, and it's the most annoying thing of all time. So I love taking 2 weeks off in April. People acting like they know what teams are going to do. They have no clue. So they start talking in circles to sound smart. Oh, God, get me away from that. I can't get fully away from it, but at least I'm getting out of the country. Should I? As of now, we're taking planes and bullet trains, not a limo. Doesn't look like any new news is coming through here lately. Probably slowing down. So I'm not going to stay live forever. Just wanted to say hello to everybody here. We've been on for 46 minutes. Maybe we'll do a full hour. Maybe we'll go 9 to 10. Somewhere around there. Full hour live. Might do this again on Wednesday when free agency actually opens. But subscribe to the channel. And we will definitely do more of these if you like these little look-ins on me working. Sorry that it hasn't been more exciting as far as actual events happening. Yeah, I mean, I might go 3 hours. That's what David Sanchez wants. But something would have to happen to like put some wind at my sails because like I do like to go on occasional runs, like a little 5-minute run. I could just keep the camera on and go on a run. I'm the only one within miles here up in the mountains. I'm gonna head to the Bay Area either late tonight or early tomorrow morning because I have to teach a class up in the Bay Area up at College of Marin. So that's on Tuesdays. Got to teach that class tomorrow. And I just haven't decided when I'm going to drive up. I'm going to drive up when there's a gap and stuff. So maybe it's going to have to happen at night if there's stuff going to happen in the morning. Trey Lance film breakdowns, parts 7 and 8 will be out. I don't know. Maybe it just depends when I have time to record them. The way this is going, I'm going to have time to record it today. So maybe part 7 will come out today and it helps some of these antsy 49ers fans pass the time. So maybe today might be a good time for episode 7 of the Trey Lance breakdown. I teach on camera reporting and production, video production. And then in the fall, I teach writing at College of Marin. So journalism classes. Yeah, the 49ers are waiting to trade Jimmy Garoppolo for as soon as I sign off the live. It looks like people are already signing off the live. We are not at our highest count anymore. Too bad. So sad. Oh, well. Again, I'm absolutely honored. I'm stoked. I'm a little concerned that there are more than 200 people at any given time willing to watch me sit here, which is exactly what's happening. So this is all house money that we're playing with right now, baby. This is fun. I know you'll take that, but the 49ers won't. Ooh, the Pittsburgh Steelers signed Mitchell Trubisky. We got some wind at the back of our sails. So that means that Trubisky signs with the Steelers, which very likely takes Jimmy Garoppolo out of consideration there. The clubhouse favorite for Garoppolo's services remains the Colts. The Colts remain the clubhouse favorite. Let's put that. The Colts. Now, let's see how much Trubisky signed for. This is going to be fascinating to me. What do you guys think? Let's make a prediction before it comes across on Twitter. A 2-year deal with Mitchell Trubisky. I think it's got to be around 10 million per year, right? 10 million? 10 million average per year. That's been the going rate for these kind of bridge starters recently, has been about 10 million per year. So if it's 15, yeah, maybe as a first round draft pick not that long ago, God, maybe 12. Maybe we can agree on 12. I'm going to guess somewhere between 10 and 12 million per year for Mitchell Trubisky. Obviously cheaper to acquire Trubisky than Garoppolo because he's a free agent and he's not going to command pure starter level money. Trubisky is obviously. And Ian Rappaport just tweeted exactly what I said. I think Ian Rappaport's watching the live. Here's what he said. The Steelers had been in the mix on Jimmy G with the 49ers, but signing Mitch Trubisky means they are out. The Colts still have interest in Jimmy Garoppolo. Trubisky is obviously cheaper than Jimmy Garoppolo to acquire in that he's a free agent. No draft pick, no draft capital, or actually would say no trade capital. I would also assume that Trubisky signed the deal for around 10 million per year. The going rate for bridge starter QBs around the recent. Trubisky is obviously cheaper than Jimmy Garoppolo to acquire in that he's a free agent, no trade capital required. I would also assume that Trubisky signed a deal for around 10 million per year around the recent going rate for bridge starter QBs. Because I don't think anybody's signing Mitch Trubisky to be their long-term franchise quarterback. They signed him to a 2-year deal. And hey, he can audition. He can prove that he's capable of a resurgence, but he's got to prove that. So Mitch Trubisky is going to the Steelers. So that leaves the Colts. As the most likely suitor, and they were the most likely suitor even before this news. Everything is still on the table. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Remember that. We all know what Plan A is. The 49ers have made it obvious, but everything is still on the table. So that was nice. That got us to 54 minutes on the live, this Mitch Trubisky news. I'm just really excited to hear Mitch Trubisky money. In fact, I don't want to sign off until we have the Mitch Trubisky money, since I've already challenged you guys to guess, and I've guessed as well. Because that's fun. people are just anxious, antsy, chomping at the bit for the 49ers to get what they can for Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think the 49ers are looking at it that way. I think they want to maintain bargaining power in any negotiation. And I do think Garoppolo and the Colts is a great fit. But I also see why the Colts would be trying to slow play this themselves, as much medical due diligence as possible. They might see the list shortening on the 49ers end for prospective trade partners. So it's a game of chicken. We see who blinks first. I never got a feeling, though, that the Steelers were overwhelmingly likely for Garoppolo. It always seemed to be the Colts. Colts have been at the top of the list for a while now. Talking to some people around the Steelers, just didn't feel like they were ready to make the draft capital and a $20+ million risk on Garoppolo at that position. But the Colts, God, it just seems like a ready-made situation where he could slot in nicely. And given the fact that the Colts were so upset with Carson Wentz last year, I may have told the story before. I sat next to Chris Ballard, who's Indianapolis's general manager at the 49ers Colts game. And this guy was just so angry the whole game. He was slamming the table. He was yelling after every even minor mistake that Carson Wentz made. I'm like, God damn, he doesn't like this guy, Wentz. And I mean, they traded for him, but it was mainly Frank Reich that stood on the table, pounded the table for the Colts to trade for Wentz. Ballard wasn't a fan. And given the fact that, I mean, he was so clearly displeased with Carson Wentz, just got me thinking maybe the Colts just kind of want the opposite. Wentz is all physical talent, but the intangibles really don't seem to be there, especially at this point of his career. And Jimmy Garoppolo has the intangibles. And it's the physical aspect that's in question, especially given the injuries, right? But the intangibles have been there enough to be efficient when the 49ers have really needed it to win, quite a few games for the 49ers. So I think, when you put him on a ready-made roster, he could be that glue piece that can push your football team to the next level, especially if you've been dealing with Carson Wentz in the prior year. So Indianapolis still seems like the logical spot for me. Mitch Trubisky. Have we gotten money on Mitch Trubisky yet? I can't believe we haven't gotten money on Mitch Trubisky. I would think that would come out sooner. It must not be a lot because the agents would be pumping that info out there if it were. I see a lot of Landry talk. I don't think the 49ers will be after Jarvis Landry. I think they, that smaller slot approach, that was something they went with earlier in the Shanahan tenure, but they've, Trent Taylor and all that, but they've since evolved into a big slot team, and that's Jawan Jennings. They really, really like Jawan Jennings. I know that. How could you not like Jawan Jennings? No, the coffee doesn't run out. I'm not drinking it very fast. The coffee's become a thing. Need it today. I'm going to need it the next few days. Well, we just hit an hour. I promised that I would go an hour. And it sounds like stuff is starting to slow down from the initial 9 a.m. flurry. So fairly soon I'll be wrapping it up. I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes just in case anything crazy happens. We want to summarize. There have been a couple things that have happened so far today that I have found interesting. Alex Kappa, former Bucks guard, has signed with the Cincinnati Bengals for $40 million over 4 years. That's $10 million per year. I think that is a good parameter for the Lake and Tomlinson market. Tomlinson graded as a tie. He tied with Alex Kappa in pass blocking per PFF and was a better run blocker in 2021. I think Tomlinson makes north of $10 million per year. The question is, are the 49ers willing to pay that? Obviously, he is now talking to other teams on the open market. Mitch Trubisky signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, eliminating Jimmy Garoppolo from contention for that job. Trubisky is a much cheaper option than Garoppolo in that he was a free agent and probably will cost only around $10 million. We will see the exact money because it hasn't yet come out for Trubisky. But that means that Garoppolo and the Colts, that still seems like the best possible match. But obviously the 49ers have all plans on the table. Plan A remains trading Garoppolo before the Wednesday deadline so they can open up some cap space. They're going to open up cap space in different ways. Chase Edmonds, the running back, former Cardinals running backs, is going to sign with the Miami Dolphins. And that means that the Dolphins may not be willing to spend quite as much on Raheem Mostert. If that's the case, the 49ers may have a better chance of re-signing Mostert since Raheem is Mike McDaniel's favorite player. So that's obviously something to watch out for. As far as other news, Jarvis Landry was released from the Browns. I don't see him as a big-time 49ers target. He won't make his previously scheduled $15 million this year, that's for sure, with his next team. But Landry's going to be 30 in 2022, and we'll see which team he ends up on. Did I miss anything? I'm not sure what else I didn't summarize here, but that's what we've been talking about in the last hour. 49ers obviously targeting higher end cornerbacks. We'll see if they make one of those signings. And it's a fluid situation with the salary cap. Again, they don't have to be under until Wednesday. No news on Tarp and no news on the coffee. It's still here. I love the cinematic mode though. Like, see, the coffee is blurred out. My face isn't. You bring it here. It's a cool new camera mode. It's up the production quality of the YouTube Live. Multiple teams are pursuing former Packers rusher Zadarius Smith, including the Ravens, his old team. So that's going to be fascinating. iPhone 13, you know it. Indianapolis still in the mix for Jimmy Garoppolo at the time of this message. Indianapolis is kind of the surefire favorite at this point. I'm waiting to see what happens with Deshaun Watson. And in a way, Trubisky could have been a necessary domino ahead of Garoppolo, given the fact he's healthy and given the fact he's the cheaper option. So maybe the cheaper option had to exhaust itself before somebody takes a splash on the more expensive option. At the end of the day, it's all speculation. We are analyzing an unpredictable market. That's what the trade market is. So all we can do is take the info that we have and make the most intelligent projections moving forward. My cup of coffee is really bothering you, isn't it? You've made several mentions about my cup of coffee. I wish there was an endless cup of coffee. That'd be pretty cool, but not to go get this one refilled. Kyle Shanahan brings cups of coffee to some of his press conferences, especially like the free agent ones. His lasts a long time too. I'm not going to pound the coffee. I've got to, I don't know how long I'm going to be sitting at this computer. So cheers to everybody. Coffee's good. If anybody needs cell phone screen repair, come see Harold at the T-Mobile store in Pleasanton. PSA. He did not pay me for that. Eagles aren't happy with their QB situation either, and they'll make a push for Deshaun Watson. And so will Seattle, yes. I don't know how excited the 49ers would be to trade in division to Seattle, but there are still teams that need quarterbacks. So just let the market play out. Sit back. Don't make any big overarching proclamations at this point, because those end up looking stupid in retrospect. Quandre Diggs, 3 years, $40 million from Seattle. So the Seahawks keep a safety. They re-sign Quandre Diggs. He intercepted Garoppolo this year, made a play. Although I don't know where the hell Garoppolo was throwing to on that one. That was one of his what the hell is going on kind of throws. I like the people who tweet, I know a way the 49ers can save $25 million really easily, as if they're smarter than everybody else in the room, as if they're, I'm the first person that's figured out that trading Jimmy Garoppolo can save the 49ers money. It's like, dude, you're not breaking news. Like, this is obvious. It's people. This is what this time of the year in the NFL. I mean, days like this are exciting because stuff finally starts to get rolling, but it still takes a couple days because Wednesday's the actual deadline. But God, it takes way too long before the draft comes around, and people just talk in circles. It's like they find a different way to word something that is obvious to everybody and act like they're offering new insight. You're not offering new insight, but this is true. Seth Walder, good point. I feel like signing Trubisky is a thing you do if you're going to take a QB in rounds 1 or 2. And of course, that makes sense for the Steelers, given that Ben Roethlisberger just retired. I mean, we could do shows like this later on where I have a beer instead of a coffee. That'd be fun. I can't do beer today. It's too early. There's too much work potentially to go, and I may even drive to the Bay Area today. All depends on timing. Hour and 8 minutes. We've been on for a while. Well, cool. One more look at the depth chart here. Why don't we make this big? As you can see, that quarterback position, we moved Sudfeld into the 53-man roster. You saw that update happen in real time. You see the running back position right now filled out with Mitchell, Sermon, Hasty, and Juszczyk. Maybe the 49ers add a veteran body there or go through the draft where they have 9 picks. Receivers interesting because that room still has some openings. Obviously, you're going to see them carry at least 6 on that 53-man roster. Keyshawn Johnson out of Fresno State, Austin Mack, Connor Weddington, all reserve future guys that I project to be on the practice squad, but they can make a move. Tight end, again, I think you could really pair George Kittle with somebody, and there's an opening in that room with Ross Dwelley no longer under contract after Wednesday. Offensive line's got some holes. You got to figure out who's going to start at left guard. You got to figure out who's going to start at right guard. We're still waiting to see if there's going to be tenders for Daniel Brunskill, players like that. I'm not putting Aaron Banks into starting position until he proves it. So I see 2 holes for the 49ers there. And Alex Mack hasn't officially decided to come back yet, but the 49ers think that is going to happen. So as you can see, offensive line has got some stuff to work on. Defensive line, They just got to continue stocking up depth. And as you can see, Sansom Ebukam is over there at one of the edge positions. Maybe you go Chandler Jones. I mean, that would be crazy if the 49ers did. I mean, I can't think of a move the 49ers can make right now that could be more impactful as far as their Super Bowl chances than adding somebody like Chandler Jones. Maybe that cornerback position, where obviously you need some bodies here in the secondary, and you do need to finish beefing up the linebacker room. But Azeez Al-Shire is a restricted free agent, so you should be able to do that at a reasonable price. Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles was an exclusive right free agent that re-signed. Special teams unit, these three specialists, that's set. So that's a quick look at the 49ers roster. Again, Deebo Samuel, Nick Bosa contract business is right here. You could sign up to The Athletic for $1 per month. Chat section has the link. Sign up through that link, and I guarantee that you will be happy with it. It's the most in-depth written coverage of the 49ers that there is. Subscribe to this YouTube channel right now. I'm sure that we're growing in subscribers as this show progresses. I'll get back online when the 49ers actually do make a move. But right now I'm going to go work out. And I'm on my phone with me. So it's time to go lift. You tell me how many pull-ups I should do, and I'll do that many pull-ups. Not going to swim today. We're just doing exercise on land. So tell me how many pull-ups I should go do. I will have my phone with me. We'll be ready to react to whatever happens. But as of right now, nothing has happened for the 49ers that is worth sitting and talking about for too long. There have been other peripheral moves today, so some of them do pertain to the 49ers, but we just sit and we wait for the next ones to come down. Oh, that sucks. Clyde lost his goggles. So I left my goggles at home before I went to the pool out in Nashville the other day, so I just swam without them. Felt like Mark Spitz. It was cool. All right, sounds good. I've already done 40 of the pull-ups, so we got 60 to go. Let's get 100 in and 100 push-ups in. I got that. I don't know if I'm going to leg press today. Can't skip leg day, though, I guess. I don't know what's for lunch. Somebody just asked that. Hell, this is the NFL. I'm never surprised with anything. This stuff is so unpredictable at the end of the day. I don't think that's plan A for the 49ers, but I'm never going to be surprised at anything anymore. Yesterday, kind of just yawn when Brady comes back from retirement. I mean, I think everybody had that at least at the back of their minds, right? Chandler Jones, I'd go the edge rusher over the cornerback. I think that's how the 49ers are built too. I think they'd go rush over coverage. Good stuff, guys. All right. Thanks for joining. Subscribe to the channel. We've been on for an hour and 13 minutes and counting. I will be back online with other great content. This wasn't too great. This was just me sitting here, but you guys seem to like it, so I'm grateful for that. Thank you. Enjoy your day. We'll have Trey Lance episode 7 film breakdown coming out soon. And if there is news on the 49ers front, well, then we'll be back with another video. So everybody, thank you. Everybody take care. It's been fun. Have a beautiful Monday. Bye now.